Well, because it's 8 o'clock right now on Spectacle Island, we are checking out a colours ceremony. This is done as a mark of respect to the Queen, and it happens on board ships, except when they are at sea at 8 o'clock every morning. Right now, these naval cadets are doing it, and they are actually raising the Navy cadet flag today. So it is a very amazing ceremony to watch, and we'll have more for you throughout the morning, guys.
Look forward to it, Natalia. The cadets do a tremendous job. Good stuff, thank you. Now, Prime Minister Tony Abbott will fight to save his political career this Tuesday as the party meets to decide his fate. For more, we're joined by Assistant Treasurer Josh Frydenberg in Melbourne. Good morning to you.
Nice to be with you, Deb.
The phones are no doubt running hot for Liberal MPs and senators. Will this spill motion get up?
I think this spill motion will be defeated, and that's because Tony Abbott retains the strong support of the majority of his colleagues. There's no doubt that some of my colleagues would like to see a change, but I don't think that is required, and the reason is because Tony Abbott has delivered for Australia in his 17 months in office, significant free trade agreements, keeping major commitments to the Australian people and creating 200,000 jobs just last year alone, and he has a good plan for the future. So I hope we can put the instability of the last couple of weeks behind us and get on with the job of governing for all Australians.
Even if he does survive the spill, though, on Tuesday, Tony Abbott's leadership, it's been irreparably damaged, hasn't it? How can he actually come back from this, and how can voters actually have confidence in him as leader when many of your own team don't?
Well, they say a week is a long time in politics.
I think a day is a long time these days.
That's true too in this 24/7 news cycle. I just hope, Deb, that when the spill motion is defeated, that my colleagues will recognise that we're all Liberals, that our political opponents are not ourselves but the Labor Party, and that we're much better off showing a united front. We've got a big job ahead of us. The international economy is slowing. This is having ramifications here at home. We've got a major focus this year on childcare, on small business, on national security. Tony Abbott outlined a lot of those ideas and plans in his press club speech on Monday. He should be allowed the fresh air, the clear air, to get on with the job of implementing them now.
WA MP Luke Simpkins called for this spill. Here's part of his explanation as to why.
It's always a bit of a risk, but I'm confident that the colleagues within the party room will look upon this as an opportunity to, as I said, either endorse the Prime Minister or endorse a new direction. And as I say, the people of my electorate have clearly, the people I know are on my side normally, are extremely worried and no longer feel connected with the Prime Minister.
He's right, isn't he? The voters aren't happy. The opinion polls very clearly reflect that. And they show that you face electoral annihilation with Tony Abbott as PM. Surely the drubbing that coalition governments got in Queensland and Victoria give you and your colleagues some pause for thought. Giving Tony Abbott more time is just putting off the inevitable, isn't it?
No, it's not. And a few points there. Firstly, Luke Simpkins is a valued friend and colleague of mine, and it's absolutely his right as a party member to put this spill motion, but I do think it should be defeated. The results in Queensland and before that in Victoria were state-based campaigns, and in Queensland,
they had federal
as you know,
implications though, and even members of your own party admitted that.
Look, there are lessons to be learnt, but at the end of the day, when you have nearly a 70-seat majority and Campbell Newman says that the election's being fought on state issues, I don't think it's fair then to shoulder the blame on Tony Abbott when the result is in. And then the third point here is that, yes, we are behind the polls. Yes, we have made mistakes. Clearly, you know, the appointment of Prince Philip as a knight was a barbecue stopper for all the wrong reasons, and clearly we held on to some unpopular policies in the budget for a bit too long. But we are recalibrating our message. We are learning those lessons, and we want to get back in front in the polls. And John Howard, a political doyen of the Liberal Party, was behind both Kim Beazley and Mark Latham, Deb, by about 10 points, the same as we are now, and he clawed his way back.
Have you received any calls from Malcolm Turnbull or his backers in the past few days?
Look, I speak to a lot of my colleagues. I have spoken to Malcolm in recent days. I value him as a colleague. I think he's done a fantastic job getting
the
NBN. Look, I don't think we're at that point. I think we're right behind Tony Abbott. He himself, Malcolm Turnbull, has said he's not about to challenge Tony Abbott. So I think Tony Abbott will retain the support of his colleagues and that this motion will be defeated.
Well, he's certainly got his boxing gloves on. The PM did come out swinging in his press conference yesterday. Here's a bit of what he had to say.
It's always a bit of a risk, but I'm confident that
So I have spoken to Deputy Leader Julie Bishop, and we will stand together in urging the party room to defeat this particular motion.
We don't want to get the Prime Minister confused there with Mr Simpkins, but there are suggestions, of course, that Julie Bishop is leaving her options open, that she was simply ticking the boxes rather than coming out passionately in support of Tony Abbott. Do you think that she would actually put up her name if this spill motion does get up?
Well, Deb, you're asking me to get into the realm of the hypothetical there after the spill motion on Tuesday, and I just don't want to go there right now because I think that the spill motion will be defeated, and Julie Bishop has had a conversation with the Prime Minister. You've alluded to the fact that they'll be together today on the hustings, and she has been a very successful Foreign Minister, a successful deputy, and she also wants to see this spill motion defeated because at the end of the day, we're all Liberals. We're much better off united, and the Australian people comprehensively rejected the chaos and dysfunction of the last 6 years of Rudd, Gillard and Rudd, and I don't think we should be emulating that.
There were suggestions from some of your colleagues yesterday that this is an orchestrated campaign. This spill, of course, called by 2 WA MPs. Should we be reading anything into the fact that Julie Bishop is also from WA?
No, we shouldn't, because Matthias Cormann, another senior cabinet minister from WA, has been an outspoken, strong defender of the Prime Minister. I think, you know, there are differing views in every state, just like in my own state of Victoria. I just think that, yes, there are some grumblings in the coalition. Yes, we have made some mistakes, but we are better off as a united team. We're better off learning those mistakes. And the next election, Deb, is over a year away, and the Liberal Party, ever since it was founded by Sir Robert Menzies in the 1940s, has never ever thrown out a Prime Minister in its first term. I don't think we should be starting now.
Exactly how can Tony Abbott, though, turn things around and restore confidence? He has said numerous times in the past that he'll listen, that he'll change his ways, but it seems that he hasn't.
Look, I think the priority has to be to narrow our policy focus. We've probably bit off a bit more than we can chew in the first 18 months, with so many different policy areas being the subject of our attention. So small business, families and jobs, and the cost of living. And we've seen a 25 basis point drop in interest rates just earlier this week. That means that every Australian family with on average a $300,000 mortgage will save $750 a year. A family will save about $550 a year with lower electricity prices following the abolition of the carbon tax. Okay. And because of the fall in petrol prices, the average Australian family will save about $1,000 a year. This is a good outcome for lower cost of living.
Well, we'll watch with great interest to see what happens on Tuesday. Josh Frydenberg, thanks for your time this morning.
Nice to be with you, Deb. Thank you.
Wendy.
Thanks, Deb. Of course, when there is a big issue, we all like to vent on social media, and we've been getting a lot of feedback from you at home.